Hi there. My name is Jack, and I went to Disney 2 years ago. And I've been going to Disney World ever since I was a child. I loved the memories, the character meet and greets, and the general feeling of being there. So, this time I was having a fun time at Magic Kingdom, even though there were long lines, and not to mention we got stopped at the end of the line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because of the weather. All in all, I still had a pretty good time, though. That was until we got to Frontierland. It was about sunset, and my mom and dad were having an idea to choose another ride to go on. It was either Haunted Mansion, Thunder Mountain, or Splash Mountain. Since this was my first time going to Disney World without my older brothers, because they thought Disney was for little kids, even though I was 14 and loved Disney, I decided to hit all of my favorite rides that I would pick without my brothers complaining. So I picked Splash Mountain. If you didn't know, Splash Mountain is based off of the 1946 film Song of the South, with the cartoon sections. I don't know, people said that the movie was racist or something. Although I wanted to ride Splash Mountain, my dad exclaimed that it was closed, because he checked on the Disney app. So, I said that I was just going to check if they were still letting people in before closing it, but when I got over there, a cast member halted me. Hey there. Unfortunately, Splash Mountain is closed for the night. The cast member said this to me when I asked if the ride was closed, and I was sad because I really wanted to go on it, since I haven't gone on it in a while, mainly because my brothers didn't let me, even though I'm old enough to make my own decisions. I digress. Since half my day was ruined because of the long lines and the weather issues, I was pissed off. So I decided to sneak past the cast member and enter the queue and get to the loading dock. Luckily, the logs were still moving, so I just decided to hop into one log and enjoy it, although I didn't know what would truly happen when riding it. Now, if you hadn't ridden Splash Mountain at Disney World, the actual ride starts when you enter the building with animatronics in it. That's where the story begins. I've studied Splash Mountain for a couple of years now, and, I loved it as a kid. So I know where all the animatronics are on the ride. And when I entered the building, the background "How Do You Do" music kept cutting in and out, which I found odd because every night after closing at the Magic Kingdom, ride inspectors usually check if there were any problems before opening the attraction the next morning. I simply just shrugged it off and just thought it was an error. But the weird part was that the animatronics were all looking at me, which made me feel uncomfortable. So I just tried not to think about it, but the next scene was where Briar Fox and Briar Bear are planning to attack Briar Rabbit, and something about this scene was definitely off. Briar Fox looked, kind of creepy. In the ride, his appearance is more cartoony, but I just thought that, Disney probably gave him a more scary look sometimes. The next scene was where the laughing place scene was, and this part started getting even weirder. Now, normally, Briar Bear would be stuck in the tree getting stung by beehives in the tree, and Briar Fox is trying to pull him out. And Briar Rabbit fooled them because Briar Rabbit is hiding in the tree. And on the side, the animatronics were singing "Everybody Has a Laughing Place" song. But this time, something was off. See, to the side of the tree, where Briar Bear is stuck in it, I saw a figure who looked like it was more of a rundown girl rabbit. When I saw that, I started getting fucking creeped out. I haven't seen any of this in the ride when I've rode it before, and that's how I knew that this wasn't right. Now it was time to go down the drop into the bees scene, and for some reason, the bees' sound effects weren't working either. Instead of Briar Rabbit laughing on the ground, it was a bloody and scared Briar Rabbit, who looked frightened due to the expression on his face. What made me even more scared was what Briar Fox looked like. He had bright red eyes, with an even sharper axe in his hand, which looked real. Now it was time for the biggest drop of the ride, the 50-foot drop and grand finale. As I started going up the ramp to the top, all I saw was the bright full moon at the end of the tunnel. As I was going up, the scene where Briar Rabbit is trapped by Briar Fox and Briar Bear, something horrifying happened instead. Briar Rabbit was getting burned alive, letting out a blood-curdling scream. It seemed so real that I saw his skin burn up with Briar Fox behind Briar Rabbit smiling, creepily. Then it was time for the drop, and at that point, I didn't have time to scream. I was just scared. But the part that had me not ready to experience what came next was the zippity-doo-dah scene. Now, if you know, the end is where all the critters are celebrating that Briar Rabbit made it home and safe. But the first thing I saw while entering the building was a banner saying, "Briar Rabbit will be remembered," with the animatronics wearing dark black robes instead of them singing zippity-doo-dah. And they just kept repeating something that sounds like a chant, like an occult, which made chills run down my spine. Then the unthinkable happened. My log stopped, and now I was stuck in the middle of this hellhole. The only way I was getting out was jumping out of my log and making a run for it. But instead of the unloading area in front of me, it was yet another drop that looked bigger than the 50-foot one. So I had no choice. I had to jump out. I did what anyone would do, and jump out of the log and make a run for it. I don't care what was behind me or in front of me, I just wanted to get out. Luckily, I found a cast member exit door that I entered through, and it brought me to the side of the attraction, where I called my mom to pick me up. I told her, meet me at the front of the castle immediately. I ran to the castle and found my parents and talked to them about what happened during the ride. My parents called Disney officials and they went to check the ride. They didn't find anything wrong, except one thing. There was a magazine hidden behind a tree in the How Do You Do scene. The magazine had a title. It said, 9-year-old girl falls off Splash Mountain at Walt Disney World while riding with parents. Which got me thinking, maybe that was the girl rabbit that I saw. I mean, who knows? But I suppose the only thing that matters now is that I made it out alive.